here on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
And away we go. It's Wednesday. Welcome into the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team, they are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. Beaver's here. Y'all are here. We got a show. All right, the whole gang. So feel free to get on in here and comment, text, or call, and I'll give you those numbers coming up. Baseball's going on. There you go. That'd be my walk-up song, by the way. My walk-up song, if I played baseball, would be straight off the Sandlot soundtrack. Easy for me to say. Yeah, a little baseball to get into. Didn't go too well. Kind of had a bad news Bears day. Well, it wasn't that bad, but you lost a midweek game if you were State yesterday and get a chance to put it behind you, get to play another one today. Ole Miss is going to play a midweek game today after flying back in and getting getting over the jet lag from the trip to Hawaii and all that stuff. And so, yeah, you got that. But really, the big thing on the schedule is that big basketball game that's going to happen tonight. Late tip-off tonight at Humphrey Coliseum, State hosting Ole Miss. And so all of that and more with you today. So get it on in here. You can text me, you can call me, you can comment. Text the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text, 885-3776. Got it? 885-3776. Another way to remember that number is 885-ESPN. So just text away. What was your reaction to a 3-2 loss for State baseball yesterday to Austin Peay, right? What's their cheer? Let's go Peay. You can call me on the Davini Equipment phone line at 897-1059. That's a 601 number also, 897-1059. And if you're on the live stream, drop a comment over there. So if you're watching or tuning in, listening on YouTube or Facebook or X, however you're streaming it there, just type a comment in. It pops up here on the Murray West live thread, and then I can pop it up on the screen, and everybody watching can see it. We can have comments and questions and opinions and otherwise on that way. Before we go into headlines coming up, which are every day at the top of each hour, brought to you by the Bank of England Mortgage Company and Went McGee. Went, the mortgage man. Find him online at mortgagemanms.com. Before we get into headlines, Sven over in Germany. Hey, man, listen, I need to say something to you. By the way, Sven was the first to comment. He said, Hail State, everyone, if we don't turn the corner quick and start to score more, we're going to lose 75% of our baseball games. Remember that this is warm-up time for the SEC schedule. Yeah, they got to play better. Sven, here's I got a message. Well, not a message, but somebody tweeted me. His name is Chip. Okay, and he is a U.S. serviceman. He is deployed to Germany right now, and he tweeted at me back on Monday. It was after the show on Monday, and of course I didn't have the stream up and going yesterday. But Chip tweeted me, and he said, Matt, I am deployed to Germany, and I'm going to be here for several months. I'd like to meet up with your listener, Sven, if he is still living here and is up to it. Can you reach out to him to have any contact info? So I told him that I would try. And I don't know the best way to go about this, but the first thing I'm doing is saying it here on the live stream. Sven, if it's an email address you want to share with me or something like that, and I can maybe get y'all connected, you might see it. He is on Twitter, on X. He tweeted at me back on Monday. He's Chip Wells there with an underscore, Chip_Wells. He sent me that. Yeah, just email me a phone number or an email address, and I'll get y'all hooked up. So he's deployed, and how about that? Pretty cool with a radio show here. We can get a couple of Mississippi State fans connected while they're both over there across the big pond. Sven in Berlin, and I'm not sure where Chip is, but he said he might catch up. But Sven, yeah, you can just email it to me. I'm Matt at MattWyattMedia.com. Matt at matt@wyattmedia.com. Send me that email, and I'll send it along to Chip and maybe get y'all connected. And if you do, somebody send me a picture. I think that would be really cool. So hopefully that works out. Texts, phone calls, everything else, get them on in here. Time for our headlines, which are brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage and Went McGee, the mortgage man.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Well, headlines brought to you by Went McGee. Austin Peay beat Mississippi State in baseball. The final score, 3-2. It was ugly for State at the plate, right? Yeah. State had 4 hits in the ball game. They were doubled up. Austin Peay had 8 hits. State had 2 runs on 4 hits. Austin Peay 3 runs on 8 hits. Both teams had an error. State left 9 runners on base. And from a pitching standpoint, it was pretty doggone good. Sierra takes the loss, but really, I mean, he gave up 1 run. Combined staff, 5 different pitchers on the mound, struck out 13 and didn't walk anybody, but you just couldn't score the run. So a 3-2 midweek loss, and they're back on a diamond today. 2 adults have been charged with murder in the Chiefs championship parade shooting. I don't know if you saw that. You probably did. Missouri prosecutors are saying that 2 adults have been charged with murder that killed 1 person and injured 22 others. Lindell Mays of Raytown, Missouri, and Dominic Miller of Kansas City, both charged with second-degree murder, 2 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon. They're each being held on $1 million bond apiece. And how about this? The great-grandson of Harry Carey has been hired as a TV broadcaster for the Oakland A's. His name is Chris Carey. He's been hired as the play-by-play announcer for the Oakland A's games on NBC Sports California. That'd be the regional deal out there. He's now the 4th generation of his family to work as a major league broadcaster. So this is Chris Carey. This will be his first year calling the A's games on TV. Of course, his dad is Chip Carey, who for years and years, has done the Braves games, and now he's doing Cardinal stuff. Of course, Chris's grandfather was Skip Carey, legendary Atlanta Braves broadcaster, 70s, 80s, 90s. And then, of course, his great-grandfather, Harry Carey, sort of the patriarch there. But it's really cool. I found it interesting. Thought I'd pass that along to you in today's headlines. Just a few of the things that we'll be getting into, and, of course, previewing the basketball game. And every day, top of the hour, our headlines brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage and Went McGee, the mortgage man. Find him online at mortgagemanms.com. All right. Text line. Scott texted the show right out of the chute here and said, "Happy Wednesday. My MSU buddy and I are headed to Starkville now for basketball. Signed Hottie Toddy." Yeah, I saw where it's going to be a sellout. It'll be a really good atmosphere. State fans are going to have to kind of rise to the occasion of, the atmosphere that Ole Miss fans put on when those 2 teams played in Oxford earlier this year. And they had, for the most part this year, have had really good atmospheres at Ole Miss games at the Pavilion. Got off to that good start, and I think the fan base kind of had some momentum behind them after football, carried over into basketball, and then the basketball team responded with a really good start, right? But that one tonight for State, 8 o'clock tip. It'll be on ESPN2 if you want to watch it. The game that'll be on ESPN2 right before that is Alabama hosting Florida. Now, that's 2 ranked teams. Alabama's ranked 13th in the country. They're 10-2 in the SEC, which leads the league. Florida, they're inside the top 25 at number 24, and they are 8-4 in the SEC. That one comes on at 6 on ESPN2. When that one's over, then they'll flip it over to the Ole Miss at State game. Looks like State's maybe a favorite there. They both have the same SEC record. Ole Miss at 6-6, State at 6-6. Ole Miss is a couple of games better in the overall. They're 19-6 overall. State's 17-8. But yeah, so it's a huge game. And if you were listening earlier this week, I kind of went through what is the like, I was kind of like the weatherman. The 10-day outlook, looking ahead down the schedule for State. So these next two, this Ole Miss game at home, then they go to LSU this weekend. Winnable game on the road. They have not been good on the road. But after that, it's a bunch of tough games. I think, 3 of the last 4 or 4 of the last 5, something like that, are all ranked teams and a bunch of them on the road. So State's got to make some hay right now. It's not going to be an easy finishing stretch, by any means. So anyhow, hope you have a safe trip getting up there, Scott, and enjoy the game and enjoy the atmosphere. Make sure you get a country pleasing sausage dog at the concession stand. My choice is to get the one where you can put the slaw on it. And some people are like, what? I'm just telling you, try it if you haven't. All right, Nick's got a baseball breakdown for us on the country pleasing text line. Nick says, pros, pitching has 51 strikeouts and 9 walks on the season. So they are throwing strikes, and they are not issuing a ton of free bases. In fact, the only time they did that, it hurt them really bad in game 2 against Air Force. But, yeah, so 51 strikeouts, only 9 walks so far. That's really good. 1 through 4 in the lineup, he said, is a pro. 1 through 4 in the lineup are all batting .315 or better. Now, he said the cons, so we're doing pros and cons. Cons need Mershon and Kohler healthy. Kohler, the newcomer, Mershon, kind of the spark plug in the middle of your infield and in your lineup. He says their bats are badly needed. Basic fundamentals like bunting and base running have to improve. Nick said, in the end, the non-conference schedule was designed this season for a lot of wins. It needs to start sooner than later because the SEC slate is going to be tough. No question about it. No question. And, Nick, I was thinking about it this morning, looking at the numbers from that game last night and, not really getting any timely hitting, right? You leave 9 guys on base, which is not a lot of games. It's not a humongous number. It's just that State left a bunch of guys on base and Austin Peay did not. So when you look at clutch hitting and elsewhere, but the pitching performance that you got, certainly good enough to win a game if you just go and put the bat on the ball. But you had 4 hits in the ball game total as a baseball team. Okay, and so you mentioned the top 4 in the lineup. So spots 5, 6, 7, and 8, including a pinch hitter in there, went 0 for. Husak 0 for 3, Highfield 0 for 3. Now, I think he had a sacrifice. Maybe it drove one in there. But 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Husak 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Nate Chester 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Powell 0 for 2, did not strike out. Pinch hit appearance from McKenzie 0 for 1. So what are we here? Let me add these up. 3, 6, 10, 12, 13. So those guys, 5 through 8, went 0 for 13 with 6 strikeouts in that game last night. That's brutally tough. And you could even narrow it down. Like I said, you could even narrow it down, and spots 5, 6, and 7 in your lineup went 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts. And that's just, ain't gonna cut it, right? So somebody, you can't have. It's kind of like in basketball, right? Like the Ben Howland teams where they were every game, even the ones they won, there was a guaranteed 8-minute stretch where they didn't score a point. It was guaranteed in every game there was going to be an 8-minute stretch where State scored no points. It's kind of like that. It's like the baseball version of that. To have, a 3 or 4 that goes 0 for 10, 0 for 11 with 6 strikeouts. It's just awful. And, you're in the game because you pitched it so well. I guess, like you say, that would be the positive. But I guess, okay, let me back up. Nick, what I think is that there's something to be said for just learning how to, and developing whatever this intangible thing is on a team like that, where you win those kinds of games. 9 out of 10, 19 out of 20. You win those kinds of games. you've seen it with teams before. It's like people will call it chemistry or toughness or I don't know what you call it, but it is intangible. You can't really always put your finger on it. Sometimes it's a leadership deal and otherwise. And then there is a chemistry factor to it also, but teams got to, get to a point where you're always winning the one-run games instead of always losing them. And it's like learning how to win again. And learning how to win and winning in any sport, really, and I hate to sound so vague, and those that are the stats and analytics gurus out there may roll their eyes at this, but you can't put a number beside it. It's something in your head and in your heart, frankly, as a team that, talent enough is there. Different days you're going to struggle at different things, but you find somehow, some way to gut out and tough out a win. I know it's easier said than done, but winning teams have it and losing teams don't. Winning programs have it, losing programs don't. And sometimes it takes time to sort of build that kind of chemistry inside of your team. Sometimes it takes time, and maybe part of it is losing a little bit and getting a bad taste in your mouth early on. But, I just think that's it's probably where it is now. I mean, you can look and say, who knows? Are they going to be world beaters on the mound when SEC teams come rolling in there? Well, probably not. They're going to hit around some. But what I'm saying is, they're better. Collectively, they're well coached. They got a great plan, and they're better on the mound. You can already see it. How much better? I don't know. Let's get into SEC play. And hitting does come and go, especially in the early part of the year. It does. And I need to take my own lesson, Beaver's lesson that he gave us, and that is let's don't overreact in the early part of the year. And it is true. But what I'm saying is, you want to overachieve, which that's what this team is going to have to do. And I really do think it's important for Chris Lemonis that it happens, that this team this year overachieves to a degree compared to what everybody says they should do or what everybody's picked them to do. They got to overachieve some. And if you want to overachieve, there's something that is not a stat. It's not something you can analyze. You can't put your finger on it, but it is kind of a chemistry and a toughness thing that you just develop, a vibe in your dugout where you're just going to find a way to win the close games. You just do it. Winning teams have it. Losing ones don't. And I think that's probably the next big step in this complete and utter rebuild that they're going through. Millwood texts the show, Country Please and text line says, Matt, in my opinion, the state offense is playing to not lose instead of playing to win, if that makes sense. They are pressing and not letting the game come to them at the plate. Yeah, maybe. And I always felt like, too, I'm not saying this is specifically for sure my, breaking analysis of what the issue is a few times already in the early part of the year offensively. But what I'm saying is you see it a lot over the years, right, Millwood? And that is in the early part of the season, right out of the chutes. Some guys aren't necessarily dialed in and seeing other teams pitching yet, but also everybody's going up there trying to pull the ball, right? And, man, it's frustrating. A lot of swinging over the top of breaking balls, right-handers you get a breaking ball, it starts middle, and it's breaking out on the outer edge of the plate, down and away, and righty's trying to pull that thing into left field, and it just ain't going to happen. Like, it ain't ever going to happen. Even if you did make contact this week and you're thrown out, and some of that develops later on too, the willingness to go up there and hit the ball where it's pitched to all fields, because like it or not, it is true, and they're very talented guys for a reason. They want to hit the ball out of the park. They all do. And you're going to do that a whole lot more pulling it than you are oppo. And some of that kind of comes with this early season territory also. And it's a whole lot easier said than actually done. When, you're facing guys who are talented. Jason in Flagstaff says, my reaction was, you only got 50 more games to figure it out until Lamonis is on the first thing smoking out of here. That's kind of how it feels, Jason. I like Chris. It's not a like him or don't like him thing. It just feels and looks like a situation where this better be a pretty good year. And then Jason, he was talking about Chip, who is he's a military serviceman. He's over in Germany. He wanted to meet up with Sven. He said Chip's probably around Frankfurt or Grafenwöhr. He says that's where I was in Germany. A bunch of satellite bases around those two big ones. Yeah, Frankfurt, I'm trying to think. Frankfurt's a pretty good little haul from Berlin. But you can get there. I do hope they get to see each other. That's really neat. Chip's been listening. He knows we got one listener who's in Berlin, Germany. It's Sven. That's pretty neat. All right. More of your texts coming up. Paramount, Grumpy, and Micah, and Tony, and Blitz, and all y'all. And your comments on the live thread, on the Murray West live thread. Robert, Sven, and others. That's all coming up. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Just getting started on this Wednesday. Stick around. Y'all heard me talk about Murray West and MurrayWest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, MurrayWest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West, you can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. You know what that is? That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country Pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com. At a grocery store near you, pretty much anywhere in the Southeast. Walk up in there and say, Country Pleasing, please. They'll know what you're talking about.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here, leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know 2 to 3 people in there. It's small town. Someone's on the side of the road broken down. Hey, you need a boost, flat tire, you need help changing it. That's just kind of, what I love about this area. The blues and the food and everything that comes along with the Mississippi Delta that I love. I tell people all the time, my business cards have my cell phone number on them for a reason. Insurance doesn't happen from 8 to 5. When you need me, it's going to be after 5. It hardly ever happens where you have a wreck, get pulled over, need an insurance card, wind blows, shingles off your roof. All these things happen, and it's typically after 5. And so the ability for someone to call me, get in contact with
Worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right. Back with you, I'm Matt, in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team, your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'd like to take a moment to check in with Beaver, please. Ding, 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 Beaver.
Matt Wyatt.
How you is?
And I'm all right.
I just have one thing to say to you.
I bet I know what it is.
It's me, M-O-O-R-E.
That fool.
Hey, and we walked out in the parking lot after the show yesterday, More Bully. He's got a tag on his car that says More Bully.
Yeah, I know. He sent me the picture I think it was the day he got it.
He's proud of it.
He is proud of it. And he says to me yesterday, so if people might not know what we're talking about, tell this tale from yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those that don't know, More Bully showed up to the studio and says, I don't want to be on the radio. I didn't come up here to be on the radio. When Beaver, in reality, it was the second day in a row that he came to the radio studio. And More Bully's got a great speaking voice. People like hearing his voice. And he got I think he knows that, and he got a compliment on the show yesterday. Somebody texted in and said More Bully ought to do a thing where he reads children's books on tape because kids would listen to it and go to sleep, And then he pretended like, I don't think I have a great voice. See, and I think he knows he does. But he came up there, yeah. And at the end of the show, there was some bad news or something that I read or had mentioned, and there was a pause, and I said, well, I wish we had something, a positive note to finish on. And Beaver, my recollection is he just jumped in there. He said, me. And then he gave us a poem that he wrote as More Bully with 2 O's. He said, it's me, M-O-O-R-E. And Beaver, all I know about the funny part was you were genuinely disgusted by it.
I really was. Man, don't lie to me and say I don't want to be on the air. You relish. In fact, what you didn't see the day before when he came in Monday, he sat down in this chair, and before he was going to come on and talk to you, I saw him texting, and I feel with 97% certainty that he was texting people going, I'm about to talk, listen to 105.9.
Turn your radio on now, guys. Turn them on.
Yeah. Well, when you left yesterday, though, the poem saga didn't end there.
Oh, really?
He called during Jake's show yesterday to chastise both you and I.
Okay.
He said, man, I want to appreciate you and Matt acting like I didn't just come up with that. Oh, that was off the cuff.
So he wants us to believe he never thought of that before.
Right.
I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. I think he wrote it at some point. More bully, wherever you are, or however you're listening, we love you. I really and the ranch crackers and the chocolate dessert was really good. And we're having a good time at your expense. Hey, Beaver, I had something else I wanted to report to you real quick before I get back over to the text line. Beaver, you know, we use YouTube TV at our house. That's our television provider, YouTube TV. And we just discovered that we have the game show channel. Okay. And when I say just discovered, I think we were watching it at Annabeth's parents' house this weekend, and we thought, well, do we have that? Because we liked being able to turn it on. It's just game show after game show after game show, including some old ones. So we get home, and she's like, hey, we got it. It's on here. So we've been watching. Well, today I was watching it during lunch, and it was that show Deal or No Deal. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You had Howie Mandel, was the host, and you had like ever how many of those. They went and got like 30 or ever how many it was beauty queens to hold those briefcases with numbers on them, And you have the deal where you have to like sift through and you hope you get $1 million. And along the way, this guy will make offers to you. If you'll just take the money, you can quit. So, and all this stuff. Anyway, that's the game show that was on. And I was really enjoying it, Beaver, as I ate my lunch. And you know what dawned on me? I thought to myself, okay, is this when you have officially gotten old? Is with all the entertainment choices that are out there, you're getting a great big kick out of old game shows on the game show channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, so I had that thought. I thought, as I'm watching the game show, because this was a game show that was old enough, it wasn't even in HD, Beaver. You know how you watch a show that was before HD and it's in square format on your TV?
Yes.
That's what this was. And it don't like, why do I like this so much? I have officially, I could picture myself at like a retirement village somewhere, just sitting around watching a game show channel and really enjoying it. And then I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to observe what kind of commercials they throw at me, and that'll tell me what they think their audience is, correct? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you turn on, that TV channel that all it does is show old black and white Westerns all day long, right? Well, you see commercials for, like, orthopedic shoes and, that kind of stuff. So, Beaver, the game show channel, middle of the day, goes to a commercial break. Here are the commercials that came on in this order. Are you ready? There were 5 of them. Number 1, hearing aids. Number 2 commercial was John Walsh. You remember that guy? He's always trying to find the criminals on TV, John Walsh?
Yeah. Was it his new one?
Yeah, where he's pimping this joint relief supplement.
Oh, no.
Okay, that was commercial number 2, joint relief supplement by John Walsh, the spokesman. Number 3 was another Deal or No Deal promo for the island version where they drop $1 million on an island somewhere. You got to find it. Number 4. Okay, you remember that show?
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt here, PTI, but I'm so glad that was a commercial, because I was going to ask you if you knew that there was a new pointless version of Deal or No Deal these days.
Hey, all I know, Beaver, is that I had never seen it before. I didn't know if it was an old show or a new one. It showed them dropping $1 million in a briefcase somewhere on the island, and the contestants have to find it. The guy who hosts that show is the guy who was in the most recent Pee Wee Herman Netflix movie that he went on vacation with. Whoever that is. And the only thing I remember from the promo of Deal or No Deal Island was a guy on a jet ski with the briefcase speeding away, and he looks back at the camera and holds a fist up and goes, "Rock and roll, baby!" That's all I remember. That was the third commercial. The fourth commercial was a commercial about COPD and quit smoking. And then at number 5, I'm thinking, okay, we're 5 deep. Finally, surely 1 out of the 5 is going to be a modern, like maybe targeting a younger person commercial. And the 5th and final commercial in that commercial break was Medicare Solutions. So it confirmed the game show channel, when it shows Deal or No Deal replays in the middle of the day, believes with all its heart that it is broadcasting to old folks, elderly people, and that's it. It became obvious. And so I'm in here going, okay, look, I have reached it. I enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it, the show. The game. In fact, Beaver, there's like 30 briefcases up there, and you got to pick the numbers, and they open them up, and you don't want it to say 1 million. You want the million, because every time you open one, you eliminate it. And she opened 3 or 4, and the guy upstairs, in Deal or No Deal, calls down to make her an offer. The first offer she gets is $188,000 to walk away. I'm watching the show. I said out loud, sold. If it's me, I'm walking. Bird in the hand. They're like, oh, you can make $1 million. So what? I mean, for some of us, you get to a point where a couple $100,000 might as well be $1 million. It's going to have about the same effect. It's going to change the world. Bird in the hand, man. Take the money and run. But anyway, I haven't said it yet, so here we go. But I digress. So that happened. More bully wherever you are. It's fine if you thought about it ahead of time. Maybe you did come up with it on the spot. It's just we didn't believe you. Okay. It's me. Moore. All right, your text message is coming up. Baseball, basketball, and everything from Grumpy and Kenny and Jason, Blitz, and Tony and Micah, and all y'all coming up next here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Stick around.
I was born and raised in Greenville. I've always called Greenville home. This is where I, was raised, went to high school, graduated high school, worked all my life here, leading up to going to college. So even when I moved from Greenville, I always told people, they asked me where you're from, I always said I'm from Greenville. I have mother, father, brother, niece, aunt, all live here in Greenville. So this is home. This is where I, live, and I've just always called it home. Small town, I feel like I could walk in any place tomorrow and know 2 to 3 people in there. It's small town. Someone's on the side of the road broken down. Hey, you need a boost, flat tire, you need help changing it. That's just kind of, what I love about this area, the blues and the food and everything that comes along with the Mississippi Delta that I love. I tell people all the time, my business cards have my cell phone number on them for a reason. Insurance doesn't happen from 8 to 5. When you need me, it's going to be after 5. It hardly ever happens where you have a wreck, get pulled over, need an insurance card, wind blows, shingles off your roof. All these things happen, and it's typically after 5. And so the ability for someone to call me, get in contact with me, text me, ask me a question, and that's what it's about to me, is helping the people that we serve, is taking care of people, and them knowing that they can count on me whenever they need me. I am Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. I say they do quality stuff. They really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel.
1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt in the Bureau. Paramount Outdoor Living texted me a minute ago and said, I miss Harry Carey calling Chipper Jones Clipper Jones. Did he really? See, I missed that one. And we're not holding up people like this as an idol, but okay, we can be entertained by each other. And was there ever anybody that did it that was more entertaining than Harry Carey? And you have to admit, it's incredible. Harry Carey, then Skip Carey, his son, then Harry's grandson, Chip Carey, all those years with the Braves. Now he's with the Cardinals. And now Harry Carey's great-grandson, Chris Carey, is going to be the play-by-play voice on television of the Oakland A's. It just goes, and I just think it's really, really neat. In all those generations, none of them sound like Harry. But it's really cool that that's happening this year. Tell you what else is cool. You pick on a guy on the radio, and then he calls you. On the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson, your Kubota dealer. Over here on line one, it's me, Moore, More Bully. What's up, More Bully?
Well, Matt, you were getting it wrong.
I did the best I could from memory.
Well, it's me. It's the MOORE.
Okay.
And that is circa 2024 of the month of February.
Okay, so it was off the top of your head, no premeditation at all.
Nope.
Okay. Well, see, here's the thing.
I told Beaver I have tentacles of talent.
The question is, does Beaver believe you?
I think so.
We could ask him, hey, Beaver.
But here's the deal.
Beaver, do you believe him?
I'm on the fence.
I bring you food all the time. God.
Hey, by the way,
anyway,
that's a nice truck. And it's the right color,
thank
too.
You, sir. I know. my buddy, my Ole Miss buddy, he said he throws up every time he sees it. So, I've had that truck since 16, I guess.
Okay. Yes.
And it's my favorite vehicle I've ever owned.
Well,
So
it looks brand
good.
new, man. You've done a good job. Like, I guess.
Well, you haven't met my wife. She keeps me straight.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I mean, big time. So I have to ask you, why do I have to hear from tens of my thousands of followers that you're trashing me?
Well, trashing is a strong word. What we said was that's how we ended the show. And I said the funniest thing about all of it was when you said, it's me, MOORE, is how disgusted Beaver was with the whole thing. Immediately, Beaver's like, "Oh my gosh!"
I think, if I recall, he like threw his hands up in the air.
He did.
He was in disgust.
And that was the funniest
third
thing about
level.
it. And
so,
but hold on. Let's be real. The reason that we had to go through that exercise earlier in the show is because Beaver reported to me that you called in to Jake's show trashing us.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I didn't even call yesterday.
Whoa! Lies!
I did not call in.
You called Jake's show. You didn't get on air, but you told me. You says to me, you says, I don't appreciate you and Matt thinking that I didn't come up with that on the spot.
The man wants credit. The man wants some credit where it's due.
I apologize. But I called the show, but I didn't get on the air, so I don't know if that's calling the show. That's calling to talk to you. Right?
That's
yeah,
true.
okay.
That's
I'll
true.
accept.
That's
yeah.
true, yeah.
Matt, what do you think about the game tonight?
Well, I think it's really important for State. I know that State and Ole Miss both have the same record, SEC record. They're both 6-6, but and I honestly didn't take a look ahead at the Ole Miss schedule, but more bully with what State has coming up. This one tonight at home, and then this weekend on the road at LSU, to me are really important because
I agree.
They got a game in here with Kentucky, okay, who you never beat. You got you got a road game coming up with Auburn, which, okay, that's a, fat chance. And then you finish the year hosting South Carolina, who they've been outstanding this year. So I just think it's a really important game for a lot of reasons. State really needs it.
I don't disagree at all. And, I mean, we need to get two, I think. I think that would help with our confidence, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And what are we doing losing to this powerhouse Austin Peay?
Well, that's baseball.
I didn't catch any of it.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the box score. Did we beat ourselves up or what?
Listen, look at this box score, more bully. So just look at pitching. State ran 5 different pitchers out there in the ball game who combined for 13 strikeouts and no walks.
Combined.
13 strikeouts combined. 13 strikeouts and no walks. Okay.
That's crazy.
It is in a loss.
I did see we lost. We only had 4 hits.
Yep.
I think that was right.
I mean, 2 runs on 4 hits, left 9 on base. They had 3 runs on 8 hits. So they had twice as many hits as you on a night when you were mowing them down. So that's the thing. You just weren't swinging the bat. And then the other stat I pointed out earlier, spots 5, 6, and 7 in your lineup combined to go 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts.
Whoa.
Yeah. So.
And that Hunter didn't get moved down, did he?
No.
Because that sounds like him.
Well, that's not him. See, he
either gets all of it or none of it.
Well, he had a hit yesterday and scored a run. And Drew so he was on base twice and drove one in. And right now, The top 2 batting averages, looking at it's only 4 games, so you say average, it like swings up and down majorly. But right now, through 4 games, your top 2 averages on the team are Bryce Chance and Hunter Hines.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know there's a bunch of upset people. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just.
What time do we play today?
I believe it's the same time, 4 o'clock, and then you get the basketball game after it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long night. But anyway, I digress.
But I digress.
And
boy.
MOORE out.
you got to work on that, but we got you. MOORE. Okay. That is a fine looking truck that man's driving. I know that much. And it's the right color. Appreciate the phone call on the Divinity Equipment phone line. 897-1059. Micah in Batesville, he texted the show earlier. He says you really have to get that bunt down in the ninth to move the run over to second with 1 out. Right. And see, I was not watching it. I'm listening to it. At that time, I was in the car. And you're like, you've got to be able to sacrifice that runner to second base in that situation. It was a leadoff walk, is what it was. The guy, you led the bottom of the ninth off with a walk, put the tying run on first base. You got to move him in the scoring position, period. And just little things like that. Tony texted earlier, and he said, Matt, our batters act like they hadn't seen a curveball since high school. Do we not throw that stuff during BP? Unnamed texter says, yeah, they're better on the mound, but they're not better as a team. And I've been going to games since 1985. All right, so here's a guy who's seen a bunch of baseball and says they are better on the mound, but as a team, they're not necessarily better. Unnamed texter said Barry Bonds said that he learned from Tony Gwynn to chase the average, and the home runs will come as a result. Chasing home runs leads to strikeouts. And that's it. Seeing spin and approaching spin away, like you're going to still hit it with the fat part of the bat. You're going to hit it opposite field. You're just not going to pull that stuff unless it's hung. It starts in and now you're in the middle of the plate and you can turn away. But if it starts middle and it's away, you're just not pulling it. And it's almost like lots of really, really talented athletes and ball players in college, they learn that stuff the hard way. Once they get to college, it's like they're not seeing a ton of it as a young player. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I don't know. It's just what it looks like. Somebody wanted to know over under on the number of the back of the last T-shirt Lamonis throws out in the dugout. It's set at 20. I'll take the under. Man, that would be a disaster if that's your total. Kenny, don't call me Ken, says a lot of sports slang terms drive me nuts. However, I love Oppo Taco. And it's a really good question. It says, which ones do you like or hate? Let's think about that. And y'all send them in to me. We'll talk about it in an hour or two if you've got any sports slang terms that you either love or hate. He likes Oppo Taco. I'm not sure I like that one. What would be some others? I have to think on that. Do they even still say hoop and harm anymore? I don't know. Rex and Blitz and Adams and Grumpy and Beer Slayer and Jason, everybody coming to y'all hour 2. Huh? Oh, yak. Yards after catch. Oh, yeah. Annie can't stand that one. Yak yard. Hour 2 coming up. Stick around.
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Time was their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right. and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal that tastes grand, the cereal that's All-Bran, a breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
You will enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free. For anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream, this is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing, it's a fun thing, it's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing, it's a wing wing. A brand new transparent fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the $67.95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda SE5 Plus 5. $625 worth of extra features at no extra charge from Mazda. You get a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, and AM/FM stereo. That's a $625 value at no extra charge. But hurry, offer ends soon.
Chicken from Popeyes.
Price may vary.
Have you ever wished for one product that would clean and shine almost everything in your house? Here it is, Clean and Shine. Like magic, Clean and Shine leaves a nice shine on fine wood furniture, so you don't need furniture polish. It cleans and shines mirrors, so you don't need glass cleaner for mirrors. It cleans and shines refrigerators, like this kitchen product. Even countertops, tile, and vinyl. Try new Clean and Shine, the foam that cleans and shines almost everything in your house.
Someday when people look at me, they'll say, there goes Roy Hobbs, the best there ever was.
TriStar Pictures presents Robert Redford in The Natural, the story of a father and a son.
You got a gift, Roy, but it's not enough.
Of love.
He means the world to me.
And desire.
I'm not waiting for true love to come along, Roy.
A champion.
Roy Hobbs comes along once, maybe twice in everybody's lifetime.
And his destiny.
With or without the records, they'll remember you.
Best there is now, and best there ever will be.
I wouldn't bet against me.
I already have.
Robert Redford, Robert Duvall, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, Wilford Brimley.
Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, hour 2, kicking off. What do y'all want to get into? Anything's fine with me. Comment, text, call, or otherwise. Staying connected to you here because of C Spire. The number one network in Mississippi is C Spire. They are customer inspired at C Spire. To prove it, they'll help you get into some of the fastest, best, most reliable internet. C Spire fiber internet to your home. C Spire fiber home internet. We have it, and it's a game changer. It really is. You need it if you can get it. And you can get your first 2 months of service free. Now it'll be your third month before you pay a bill. If you want to get C Spire fiber home internet, just use my name at checkout. Use code Wyatt, all caps, WYATT. Get your first 2 months of C Spire fiber home internet absolutely free. All right, text, call. By the way, we did have, was it Kenny? Yeah, Kenny, don't call me Ken. He had the question, what are your sports slang terms that you either love or hate, and what drives you crazy? He says for most people, they hate oppo taco when talking about an opposite field home run. He actually likes that one. Which ones do you love, hate? Annabeth, she came walking by the studio and she goes, yak, yards after catch. I hate that. And that's it. I don't mind the yards after the catch, but yak, calling it yak, I don't like that. Somebody texted in can of corn, the easy fly ball. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not too fond of that one. Rebel Rex texted the show and said, as far as football slang, scoop and score, fumble rooski, Statue of Liberty, shut down corner. He says, okay, Jalen Ramsey forgot what a door is, so he can't shut down a light switch anymore. See ya. Hey, and Rex, I got your text earlier, too. I'm coming to it. Yeah, the one, there's been several. One of those when they say, like, in space, got to get him in space. Get the ball to him in space. I don't like that because, the ADD mind will hear that. And even though you know exactly what they're trying to get across and what they mean, you can't help but wonder. All of a sudden you picture a guy with a football floating out through space out there by the space station somewhere. Like he'd wave him bye-bye. Got to give him the ball in space. We can do better than that. I really think we can. Headlines are coming up in just a minute. I need to include that we are, 50 days from the Masters? Just 50 days. You'll hear that music and the azaleas be blooming and we'll be watching Masters golf. Looking forward to that. Just 50 days. Warm weather and sunshine. It's coming. I looked at the extended forecast into next week, and even though there's rain that comes in and leaves and comes in and leaves, there is at least one day next week where the temp gets up to 80. We're going to have an 80-degree day soon. Hallelujah. Bring it on. All right. And let me get to this because I'm playing catch up a little bit on the text. So I'll do that here and then we'll hit headlines real quick. Bulldog Blitz texted the show and said, Matt, you obviously like baseball a lot and really know the game. I think I've heard you say you played in high school. Did you have an opportunity to play college baseball anywhere? I did. Of course, went the football route, and I did not have like a scholarship offer from Mississippi State to play baseball. I only had one from State to play football. I would have loved to have been able to go to a place like State and play both, but I did. I was recruited as a baseball player too, some places, and had a lot of the opportunities that were at some smaller schools, even that were like football and baseball opportunities. Had that opportunity at Southern Miss and Samford and some places like that. But yeah, had the opportunity and missed it. I still do. You know how it is, that saying, everybody wants what they don't have. So I got to have the experience of playing college football, which is second to none in the SEC. And it's an absolute life changer, you know. It was an absolute life changer. Playing there at State, one of the best things that ever happened to me. But I have always missed baseball. And I'm just like you. You know, if you grew up playing as a kid, sure, you know, dreams of trying to play pro baseball, great, fine, wonderful, whatever. It's just getting to be out there, you know, having the uniform on, the sights, the sounds, the smells, all the nostalgia that we talk about, it's all real. You know, the gloves, the bats, the taking infield, you know, getting on the mound, trying to strike somebody out, you know, just everything that goes along with it. I always missed it, you know, but I don't feel slighted in any way because, you know, God has been way, way, way better to me than I would ever deserve. And the opportunity to play college football, get it all paid for, like I say, it's just, that's a dream come true. But yeah, I miss baseball. You know, a lot of times I wish I had done it, or maybe wished I had seen it through the opportunity to do both. I actually, towards the end of my college career, I was maybe a junior or so in college, you know, of course I'm on football scholarship and playing quarterback and all that kind of stuff. And I had a class under Coach McMahon, Pat McMahon at State. And in the process of that, kind of got to know him just a little bit where, you know, he was comfortable talking to me and I was comfortable talking to him. And I did go to him and talk to him about maybe trying to just trying to be a part of it somehow, even if it was just whatever little role I could have just to be around baseball again. And he was, he would say, sure, we'd love to do it. We'd give you a shot. And right about that same time, we had a coaching change on the offensive side at State where we got a new offensive coordinator, a new quarterbacks coach, and was fixing to go through what was going to be my last spring as a football player. And so when I asked about it, Coach Sherrill was real straight with me. He's like, look, I wouldn't tell you not to do anything. You know, it's your life. I'm going to support it, whatever. It's just that if you miss spring practice with a new coordinator, new QB coach, it kind of puts you behind the 8 ball out here. And, you know, you miss that time, it's hard to make that up, you know. And he was right. And reminded me that I was on a full football scholarship. He was right about that too. But anyway, nobody cares about any of those stories. I would just say that I miss it, man. You know, and there are times now, like I can't move, stretch, run. Things hurt, you know, I'm getting old. But I tell you, I have times where I wish I could grab a glove and maybe if you had some guy, even if it was just going out, taking some infield and take a little BP at a baseball field, you and a bunch of your buddies from high school or, you know, some guys that you live in town with and just kind of get up not even a game, just a practice. Just get up a practice. Go and do it, do sort of a sandlot thing. I would do it. I'd be all for it. With all the risk, I'd be all for it. All right. Hey, look, let's hit headlines. I'll come back. We'll go text messages from everybody. They're rolling in. Dog Tired, Ed, Kenny, Trip, my man More Bully. It's me, it's MOORE, and Jason and others. The first headlines brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage and Went McGee. Went McGee, the mortgage man. Find him online at mortgagemanms.com. Headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Of course, really the news, State lost that midweek game yesterday, 3-2 to Austin Peay. They got great pitching performances from everybody they put out there. 5 different pitchers for State combined to strike out 13, did not walk a single batter, allowed the 3 earned runs, but State just couldn't hit the baseball. They were out hit 8-4. State had 2 runs on 4 hits, left 9 on base, and lose a midweek game, and they'll tee it back up here this afternoon, play their second midweek game, try to get back in the win column. 2 adults have been charged with murder in the Kansas City Chiefs championship parade shooting. They killed 1, injured 22 others. Lindell Mays of Raytown, Missouri, and Dominic Miller of Kansas City have both been charged with second-degree murder, 2 counts of armed criminal action, and unlawful use of a weapon. They are each being held on $1 million bond. And how about this story? The great-grandson of Harry Carey, Harry Carey's great-grandson, has been hired as the play-by-play television announcer for the Oakland A's games that'll be on NBC Sports California. So he's now the 4th generation, of his family to work as a Major League Baseball broadcaster. So you got Chris Carey. He's going to do the A's games first year this year on TV. His dad is Chip Carey, longtime Braves announcer, and now he's with the Cardinals. His granddad is Skip Carey, legendary Braves announcer in the old days, WTVS. And, of course, his great-grandfather is Harry Carey, legendary Hall of Fame broadcaster. It's just really cool. I saw this quote from Chris Carey, who this will be his first year again in the booth. He said, "Ever since I was 12 years old as a kid, I dreamed of becoming a Major League broadcaster. And now I'm thrilled that that dream has come true." It's just really cool. And I don't know what he looks or sounds like. I don't know, and it's interesting, like they've all been different. Skip was much different from Harry. Skip probably had the best on-air sense of humor of really any baseball announcer ever, frankly. He's right up there with Dizzy Dean and those guys. But voice different, delivery different than his father, Harry Carey. Chip, very different. Different style, did his own thing. Didn't try to copy anybody. They're all different. So I don't know that. It's like something that interests me, and it makes me want to tune into an A's game and see what the 4th generation Carey is going to sound like on a broadcast. Those are some headlines here today brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage and Went McGee, the Mortgage Man. They have locations in Ridgeland, obviously, but now also in Starkville, Oxford, and Tupelo. We're going to go do some shows at those locations soon. Looking forward to that. And if you are a first-time home buyer, right, first one, maybe you're, single homeowner, but maybe, newlywed couple, whatever. But first-time home buyers, they have a program here at Bank of England Mortgage with Went McGee where you can get up to $20,000 towards the purchase of your home at this new program. And that's money you won't have to pay back if you stay in the home for 5 years. The entire allotment for the whole program is like $1.5 million, and when it runs out, it's over. So now would be a good time if you're in the market. And look him up. That's Went McGee at mortgagemanms.com. All right, let's work our way back here. Dog Tired in Florence texted the show earlier today. He texted and said one of the terms that he liked, he hadn't heard it in years, was a Texas leaguer. He says, which nowadays is a blooper. You're right, Dog Tired. I still hear that every now and then. I hear someone say a Texas leaguer. And I'm sure there are some that won't know what that is, but I like hearing it too. He says, ball hit low, hard over the infield, but uncatchable by the outfielders. Texas leaguer. Yeah, and he said there's nothing funnier than Will Ferrell impersonating Harry Carey on SNL. And you're right. I don't have the clip here in front of me. I probably should have looked it up. But, so many people nowadays you'll say like something about Harry Carey, and they begin to do, and I do it, you'll do like an impression of Harry Carey. But really what we're doing is an impression of Will Ferrell doing an impression of Harry Carey. Everybody goes, hey, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself? Well, that's Will Ferrell's Saturday Night Live skit about Harry. Harry Carey never said that. So it is iconic. His impression of Harry Carey is not but is close to as iconic as Harry Carey, himself and some of the things he did. Grumpy Texas Show said, Beaver, please limit more bully to 5 minutes a week. And then he texts later and he said, yes, Matt, we do care to hear your stories. Well, thanks, Grumpy. I appreciate that from you. And, I get into them sometimes. I hate, what I don't want to do, Grumpy, is be the guy. I refuse to be the guy, okay, who the older he gets, the better he was. Like that guy who was wearing that T-shirt that said that, the older I get, the better I was. But we got a lot of those. The older we get, the better we were. And we think that anytime it comes up, it's an opportunity for tell everybody how great we were and how highly recruited we were and all that. I don't want to be that guy. Hey, I was on my way to the NFL and then blew my knee out or had to go in the Army. How many of those have we heard? Sure you were. Patches said, Matt, it's called softball for old men. Yeah, I know it. I know. Can I be honest with you, though? Hitting a softball is not a challenge. It's just not enough of a challenge. Like getting in a boat, go catch a fish, that's a challenge. It might not happen. Sitting in a deer stand, you spend how many months trying to kill that buck? I'm sorry. Harvest. Yeah, that's a challenge. Right now at 47, if I were to pick up a bat and try to get loose and actually, take some BP, hit a baseball, maybe field a ground ball and still be able to walk, so that would be a challenge. But hitting a softball, the slow pitch, it's just not a challenge to hit it. I sound really confident, don't it? In famous last words type of thing. I don't want to play softball. It ain't the same as baseball. It's not the same. Old School Ed said, the Dogs must hit 70% from the free throw line and 5 to 7 turnovers to win. If we lose, we are NIT bound. Well, Ed, okay, you may be someone who is tracking the bracket stuff, bracketology and all that week to week. I haven't looked at it. I don't even know what the projections are right now myself off the top of my head. I mean, I think I know enough to know that, like you're saying, like State's right there, bubble-ish. I mean, you got to finish well. And that's the thing that I'm looking ahead at this stretch after this one tonight. State has been a much better team at home. This is a home game. State has been downright awful on the road. Well, they got some road games coming up, like to LSU this weekend. Later, they got to go to Auburn, right? It's not easy. I think there's a road trip in there to Texas A&M. A&M's lost 2 games this year to Arkansas, lost 1 last night. A&M's not a world beater, but State's been awful on the road. That's a road trip. So when you look at bubble-ish right now, Ed, just like you're saying, the reality is you're a bubble, okay? The reality is you got the same league record as Ole Miss, 6-6 going into this game tonight, but they beat you in Oxford earlier. Road game at LSU coming up, road game at Auburn, road game at A&M, home game against Kentucky. You don't beat them. How often do you beat them? Never. Finished the year with a home game against South Carolina. You played them earlier this year to start the SEC season in their building, but that's a really good basketball team. So, yeah, rivalry, current SEC standings, but in terms of what it's going to take for State to finish this out and solidify themselves as a tournament team and not have to go to the NIT, this game tonight's really important. It ain't just a rivalry deal. It's big time important to their season. I feel like you don't get it done tonight, man, you are up against it in terms of getting in that tournament with the schedule that you have left. Now, the silver lining would be that, yeah, okay, home game against Kentucky, road game at Auburn. These are big time opportunities. Sure, you go pull some upsets, it's a different story. I'm just saying what is typical. And one thing we've seen about State, I know they have the road win at Missouri, but Missouri's awful. So the one thing you can say about State is they are consistent. They are consistently really tough at home, and they are consistently bad on the road. Trip texts the show The one that he gets sick of, the term he is sick of, is physicality. He said it's not even a word. I'm guilty of that. I've used it. So it's physical, but it ain't physicality, huh? Unnamed texter said, in the past, he ran towards the sidelines. Now, boundary. See, okay, I'm with you on that. Here's what bothers me about using boundary in football slang. I hear boundary, and what that means to me is that on this particular play, wherever the ball is snapped from, it's the sideline they are closest to, because we call that the boundary corner. All right, for example, the ball is on the right hash, right? The offense, here we go, ball snapping, the ball's on the right hash. Meaning, out here to the left is a long way to the sideline, but since we're on the right hash, out here to the right is a short distance to the sideline. So the cornerback that's in the shortest distance from the ball, we call him the boundary corner, and the other guy is the field corner. So you got field and boundary. So as long as that's what we're meaning, I'm okay with the term boundary. I don't like just saying boundary just because you want to say boundary and meaning, well, that's the sideline. Well, not in the football meeting room, it's not. You got the field and you got the boundary. We're going to run, toss sweep into the boundary. Well, that means the ball's on the right hash and we're running toss sweep to the right. Does that make sense? So I'm with you. We got to know what they mean if we're going to use them. And that's us. Welcome to America. We hear somebody else say it, we say it, whether we know what it means or not. Or just give it some other meaning, whatever we think it means. We do that too much. All right, more of your texts coming up. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. Stick around.
Today's game from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Time was, their breakfasts were gloomy. They just didn't feel right, and they didn't know a delicious cereal could help their sad plight. So they tried this and tried that, but irregularity kept coming back all the same. For as often the case, lack of bulk in their diet was actually to blame. Once at the grocer's, the wife was so drooping and sagging that a neighbor said, "Get on Kellogg's All-Bran wagon. Why, All-Bran has a flavor that's scrumptious to eat. So rich and nut-like, makes breakfast a treat. And of course, Kellogg's All-Bran can help you each day to youthful regularity, the dietary way." "Well, it might do some good," said the wife with a sigh. "Guess I'll get some All-Bran and give it a try." Soon, breakfasts at her house were happy and bright, for delicious Kellogg's All-Bran set their day off right. Yes, All-Bran supplies all the bulk in your diet, you see, that you may need for youthful regularity. And no half-brand cereal possibly can provide this help as surely as Kellogg's All-Bran. A delicious, non-habit-forming aid to your diet. You're sure to like All-Bran. Just buy it and try it.
Get on the Kellogg's All-Bran wagon with the best bran in the land. The cereal that tastes grand, the cereal that's All-Bran, a breakfast treat that can't be beat. Be a regular guy and climb aboard the All-Bran wagon. Eat Kellogg's All-Bran.
What is the secret of this enchanted book? What wonders are hidden within its pages? What magical spell does it cast on all who read it? What is the secret of the never-ending story?
But that's impossible!
enter a world where a young boy's imagination becomes a vivid reality. The world of Atreyu and Artax, the Rockbiter, and a good and kind gnome. A world that is vast and eternal, treacherous and dazzling, unforgettable and free. For anyone who's ever made a wish, believed in a fantasy, or had a dream, this is the never-ending story.
It's a new thing. It's a fun thing. It's a swing wing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. It's a wing wing. A brand new transfer fun thing.
It's a what?
It's a swing wing. A fun thing. And now it's your favorite store thing.
It's a what?
Mazda announces some great news for truck buyers. Right now, you can beat the already outstanding value of the '67-95 Mazda SE5. Introducing Mazda
1059 and coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. I got hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. I was reminded by that just a minute ago. I had to turn the microphone off, clear my throat, and it hit me. I got some coffee in the thermos, still smoking hot from earlier today. It's the Dr. Ellis blend. Look that up over there. You can see what it is at highpointroasters.com. They got a new location. They moved about 1.5 miles up the road back towards town, and bigger warehouse and bigger operation and new and nice big open parking lot. When you drive by there, windows down or not, you're going to smell coffee. It's kind of amazing throughout the year. Great people and really fine products. If you like coffee, I'm just telling you, you're going to love it. And it comes in bigger bags. I mentioned that before. You know, there aren't a lot, like, especially on a shelf in a store, retail, something, there aren't a lot of 1 pound bags of coffee being sold, whether it's already ground or beans, you know, smaller. The prices didn't change a whole lot when they started doing those smaller bags too, but at High Point Roasters, it's a big 1 pound bag. And so it may be a couple dollars more, but you know, it's going to last longer. You get more. And it's really good stuff. Highly recommend it. Can you tell I highly recommend it? Mike in Madison texts the show. He says, I can't stand it when I'm at a company meeting and somebody uses the sports euphemism, quote, we hit the ball out of the park. We hit that one out of the park. He said, I mean, it's a good thing, but don't say it that way. He does not like comparing it to home runs. Mike, good friend of mine named Don, he's a lifelong, avid baseball fan. And he said, you ever notice that everything is a baseball analogy? He said everything in all walks of life, they're using baseball analogies, right? Home plate, getting to first base. Knocked it right out of the park. He knocked it out of the park. Mm-hmm. It's really true. That, I mean, a lot of it is. Wes in Gluckstadt texted the show. He says his favorites are Chipper Jones terms for home runs. Yickety, yacked, yickety yacked, yickety yard. Is that what he says? Where does he say that? Like on social? I probably need to follow Chipper Jones. I just don't follow a lot of people. Kenny don't call me Ken. All right. He is thumbs down on RPO. He is sick and tired of hearing football announcers say RPO. Sick of it. I agree. And in baseball, he's thumbs up on CNI double. I came up with one time, and I used it and Bart didn't think it was funny at all. Ball to the wall, left center field. I said, like a bad set of teeth, it's a gapper. Bart just rolled his eyes. He's probably right. More bully. Text the show and wanted everybody to know that 5 minutes, he's just getting warmed up. And when he calls the phone, the phone line, the Davini Equipment phone line, he said it's harder to hit a golf ball on a tee than a moving, slow pitch softball. You know what? Now think about that a minute. Hold on. Think about that. Is that true? Think. It's harder, it's more difficult to hit a golf ball sitting on a tee not moving than to hit a moving, slow pitch softball. I might actually agree with that. Surely it's got something to do with the size of the ball. Res Dog texts the show, and he says, Matt, I played softball for about 10 years after college. I can assure you, he said, hitting a slow pitch softball is absolutely a challenge, ... for some. Yeah, that's what I should have said. It is a challenge for some. But you know what, Res Dog? Here's the thing about it. I got total respect for anybody who is playing softball and is trying to hit it. That's the thing. Like, ain't no looking down your nose at somebody who doesn't square it up or hit a home run or hit it where they want to every time or hit it hard every time. And maybe even occasionally swing and miss. At least you're swinging the bat. That's the thing about it. Okay. The respect in slow pitch softball for me as a competitor starts and ends with you trying to hit it. Swing the bat at it. Let me tell you what I don't respect. Never have, never will, and even got myself embarrassed in a church league softball game years ago for calling somebody out for this. This one I will not put up with. I won't put up with it. As if it's up to me. I just ain't putting up with it. Is people playing slow pitch softball. Now, I'm not talking about let's just say it's a high school team. It's a little different type of edge there. If you're like high school competition and high school slow pitch softball. I don't think they do that anymore, slow pitch. But I'm talking like church league, men's league, is you're trying to draw a walk in slow pitch softball. No respect for that whatsoever. None. Zero. What are you doing? The entire makeup and design of the sport of slow pitch softball for men is to allow you to hit it. It's so that you won't swing and miss. Yet you're standing in, think about it. Think about the overall here in this picture. And if it's you, I'm sorry I'm going off on this. But it's just true. Fly up to 10,000 feet and just look down at yourself in a slow pitch church league softball game, standing in the batter's box with a bat in your hand, trying to draw a walk. What is that? What are you doing? Man, take up something else. Go make a quilt. Knitting. Go watch the game show channel. Like I did today. And let somebody else play who at least swing the dadgum bat. Now, I said I got embarrassed. It was like 20, 25 years ago. In fact, I think I was on the same team with a guy named Jimmy Henry who was just hired. He's the new pastor at First Baptist in Vicksburg. And years ago, and then some other friends up here. I was in my 20s. This is 20-something years ago. And I'm out here playing shortstop. We playing church league softball. It's for fun. Okay. And we got a guy on the mound who was about 78 years old. Okay. And good athlete for a 78-year-old. He's 78, right? He's pitching because he don't want to take hot shots at third and he don't want to play short, or run around the outfield. He's pitching. And he was just having a hard time getting it perfect is all. That's the other thing. Underhand lobbing up there. He's having a hard time getting it perfect. And we're playing some knuckleheads who started taking pitches. And we're even telling each other, hey, take it until he throws a strike. And the balls were hittable. They weren't perfect. They were, a couple of them not strikes, okay, but they were hittable. Swing the bat. Going up there, standing there like, you know what I want to say, and taking pitches in slow pitch softball. And I blew my top, and I started yelling and screaming, what y'all doing? What are you doing? It's church league softball. We're trying to let you hit it. Swing the bat. Should we just go home? What are you doing? What do you think this is? It ain't like they're going to give you a trophy if you win. I mean, everybody within 3 fields could hear me yelling and screaming. And exactly what I was saying. And the next pitch, the guy swung the bat and smoked it right past me, one hopper. I'm talking about, and I didn't make the play. And some of them guys on the other team had a little chuckle about that, as you might think. But you know what? I think I did even respond. Okay, great. Now let's play ball. At least something happened. At least we can give you your man card back now. Yeah. Stuff like that, and when you pull stunts like that is when you know it's time to give up church league. And that, and for several other reasons, I didn't play much more church league softball. You can't take a certain amount of competitiveness to church league. Like getting a technical foul, this is a true story, like getting a technical foul for dunking a ball during a church league basketball game. That's a true story. And all my team was like, well, that's the rule. And I'm like, well, since when? That's a dumb rule. This is, what are we doing? We're playing basketball here. A named texter said George Carlin had a whole bit contrasting baseball versus football. Oh, that is a classic comedy routine. It is hilarious, right? And I can't quote it, but it's stuff like, in football, we wear helmets that protect our skulls and brains from injury. And he goes, in baseball, we wear caps. I mean, it was just one after the other. That's a classic deal. It is. Hey, look at here. I got a text from Louvier. I'll read that to you next. And hook, and old tackle, and toe, and all y'all, as my man Neil Price would say. Coming up next in the Bureau. Stick around.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
Y'all have heard me talk about Murray West and murraywest.com. They made the hat that I'm wearing. Got the Natchez Trace logo on it. I've told you a little bit about what they are. Contract embroidery company here in Mississippi. Started back in 1996, family owned. They do a phenomenal job, and I got to go visit their place up in New Albany. Let me show you a little bit about it. When I say they do quality stuff, they really do. And so custom apparel, team stuff, I mean, really and truly, just about every high school in the state is sending their embroidered, team gear, jackets, shirts, hats, stuff. Baseball teams, football teams, they're sending it to the folks at Murray West in New Albany. You go to their website, murraywest.com, you go to the bottom, you can kind of see some of the Prairie Wildlife, Ole Miss Athletics, Gentile, others that they work with. Can't recommend them enough. If you need your logo printed, embroidered, sewn on to anything, custom apparel and other stuff, make sure you go there. Murray West. You can find them online. MurrayWest.com. That's MURRY West.com.
I had this opportunity come up through a friend of mine that was an agent here at Farm Bureau that, he said this may be something I like to do because he knew I was involved in the community. And what we do, we're supporting the community. We're doing stuff to protect the members of our community. I've been here almost a decade. And what we do, we help people every day through the products we sell. We make recommendations to them, stuff to protect their assets, protect their lives, their families, and we're local. We're local people. Everybody that works in this office has grown up here, lived here, played ball in this community. I've coached in this community, been on the park boards, the sports league boards, the booster club boards. The community is what's important here in Farm Bureau. We push the local community. We're a Mississippi company. That's a Washington School team ball from 2019. Greg Wallace was the head coach then, and him and I were really good friends. I've been in Greenville my whole entire life. My family's been here. This is home. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support the people of Washington County, protect them. I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County. We are the home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now.
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. Russ on Facebook said, do they even do church league basketball and softball anymore? Do they? Do they not? They don't even do it? Surely they do in some places. Maybe just not where we are, Russ. But I don't know. Have they done away with that? Maybe there was too many fights. Too much threatening the umpire on the way to the car after the game, and maybe that's what it was with the church league. I don't know. Over the phone line, Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Your Kubota dealer, Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona, on line one. What's up, Jason?
Nothing much. You're joking there, but you're probably right. When I was in high school, I had a job at Greenville Parks and Recreation, scorekeeping for softball games. I did, the girls' fast pitch league, and then they had the company thing where the local beer factories would come up and they'd be drinking the whole time they were playing softball.
Right.
And then I did church league. And by far the worst people were the church league. They constantly fighting and yelling at each other, and to this day it still boggles my mind that a whole bunch of little old church ladies get out there and just be awful to each other.
Yeah, I guess, there's lots of things to be competitive about, including who's better at softball, Methodist or Baptist. You know what I'm saying?
It was so crazy. It always tickled me, the juxtaposition of that, where these beer factories where they bottled beer would come out there and they'd be drinking the whole time, giggling and goofing off. And then here comes the church league, middle-aged old people, washed in the blood of the Lamb.
Yeah, right. And misbehaving. And I did it too. Like you say, I mean, I was out there at shortstop with a shirt on, had my church's name on the front of it, screaming at them people, swing the bat.
No. What the story you described is very, very mild compared to some of that.
Okay, well, I'll take credit for that then.
All right, I'll hang up and listen. Y'all have a good one.
You too, Jason.
Bye.
Thank you. Good to hear from you. Louvier on the Country Pleasing text line says, it's easy to hit a golf ball on tee. It's hard to hit it well. And for it to go where you want it to go, signed, Go Saints. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because, a lot of times, right, hitting a softball, just as long as you hit it hard, it ain't like you're trying to hit it in a hole out there that just big enough for the ball to go in. Right? That's what makes golf hard. Hook said Yogi Berra-ism. In golf, you have to play your foul balls. So, yes, it's harder. And anybody that says golf is easy is an idiot. That's just not easy. The best who've ever played it will tell you how hard it is, right? Much less those of us who ain't no good. Anybody that says golf is easy is just an idiot. Doesn't have one slight clue on what he's talking about. I got a couple of things I want to pass your way on this day. Back in time on this day. On this day, this is out of nowhere, but I just want you to hear it. This is a singer and a song that needs to be remembered. On this day, in 1933, Nina Simone was born. Y'all know who Nina Simone is? Her real name was Eunice Wayman, but she was a singer-songwriter who went by Nina Simone. Had a song, I Wish, back during the Civil Rights era.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me.
Y'all look it up and listen to the whole thing if you've never heard it. Nina Simone. Like I say, born on this day in 1933.
Say I'm loud, say I'm clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart.
She passed away at 70 years old in 2003. She was born in North Carolina and then spent her latter years in France.
I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free.
Great song, great singer. Let's see, there's some more. What about on this day in 1970? On this day in 1970, on American Bandstand, the Jackson 5 performed I Want You Back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please greet for their first visit, the Jackson 5.
Now, this is the actual American Bandstand performance that you're hearing.
Michael.
It doesn't get much better than that. Things that don't need to be forgotten. Nina Simone, the Jackson 5. Somebody texted and reminded me that Nina Simone was a classically trained pianist. Yeah, she was a phenomenal musician, songwriter, everything else. Let's see. Kenny Don't Call Me Ken. He said the Greenville Church League was made up of mostly industrial league players back then. Oh, so it wasn't this, like we just go get the best players, put them on the church team, whether they went to church there or not. Jake from Yazoo texted the show. He said Pensacola League years ago and had a team at work. We were playing a team of firefighters. Jake said my teammate at second didn't even glove the throw from left field. Smoked the runner in the chest. No punches thrown because I jumped the outfield fence like the kid in Dazed and Confused. Softballs aren't so soft. No, they're not, and they're throwing hard enough. That's for sure. Okay, somebody's talking about what Chipper Jones calls a home run, and they sent me a Twitter link here from a few years ago. Chipper tweeted, "Yickety means homer. Mamo means big bomb. Roadrunner is Francisco." Any other questions? Okay. According to Chipper Jones, a home run is yickety. Did he get anybody to pick up on that, though? Toe texted the show, and he said, I played a lot of baseball. He said, and the hardest thing I ever did was try and hit a fast-pitch softball coming in at 60 miles per hour. Like it's a whole different kind of thing, right? Whole different kind of, like the way the ball moves and doesn't move. That you have to get used to. I'm only guessing. Roger texts the show. Matt, this is Roger from Country Please. And what's up, Roger? He's a territory manager for the Tupelo area. He says Walmart on Main Street behind the Dodge's convenience store is the only Walmart that has all of the flavors of sausage. He says Barnes Crossing and the Neighborhood Market only have the original. I just want to let you know so people don't think you're giving false information. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm talking about, though. That's right, because you do have when was that? Was that Monday? You do have two Walmarts. Well, and then you have the Walmart Market deal, the smaller one, but you have the two regular size Walmarts in Tupelo. And the one at Barnes Crossing out there by Sam's, I guess, and the one at West Main, that's the thing. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything in there. 3 cheese, black pepper and cheddar. But Roger, thanks for letting me know. It's like if you have two, I mean, I don't know if everybody does that, but you might have two Walmarts in your town. It's like you pick one of them. That's like your Walmart. That's kind of what we do. Don't go to the other one that much. Hey, and yeah, I just finished the package of pineapple, jalapeno and pineapple. Finishing up, I had a package of original, finishing that up, and then it's back over to jalapeno and cheddar. That's what's next for me. All right. Let's see if state baseball can get in the win column this afternoon. And more importantly, can the basketball team get in the win column tonight? They're going to really need this game, in my opinion. State fans hoping you go 2-0 here today. We shall see. And we'll talk about it tomorrow. Same time, same place. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here on the show in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. See you tomorrow.